This video you are seeing now happened on Friday, a few days ago, where the government agency FAN and Lagos State building regulator went to Ajao Estate to destroy houses. About 12 or 13 houses were affected. And I want to talk about this. I want to educate you on what you should do to avoid you being avoid you falling into a victim like this. It is not a good experience at all for you to buy a house or buy a land and the government come to destroy the house. But before I tell you about this, tell you what to do to avoid this, let me just give you a brief background about this demolition so that you can have a fair idea. I don't like to judge things without looking at it critically. This particular land is owned by airport. FAN is the body in charge of the airport. So around 2015, they discovered that some people have encroached the land. So they spoke to the community that the community should evacuate the place. But after all said and done, about 200 houses that were affected went to the government, and everything was done, and they were left to use the land. But 13 houses in that location was actually in a critical location where the gas line or the pipeline will pass for gas, and they were given notice not to build in that place, not to even do anything in that location around 2016. But some set of people, Omonile and the rest, they still went ahead and sell those land to people who do not understand, still went ahead and buy it, and that led to what happened on Friday.
My sister, good morning. Oh, good morning. See, they have demolished my house. I was in the hospital. They just called me that they have started demolishing our house. They are demolishing the whole street. Oh, they just come and started demolishing. See, they are demolishing everywhere. They are demolishing. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, I could not bring out my property. I could not bring out my documents. They are demolishing everywhere. See. They are demolishing everywhere. Oh. The whole building, the whole house, they are demolishing. Oh. Rossville at Ajao Estate. Rossville at Ajao Estate. Oh, they are demolishing everywhere. Rossville Street at Ajao Estate. See them. Oh, they came with 2 caterpillars. See them. Demolishing everywhere. I could not bring out anything from my house. Oh. I could not bring anything out. Oh. See. They came with courage. They came with courage. Oh. Demolishing everywhere. Demolishing.
Then let me tell you what you can do to avoid this from happening. Before you buy a land, make sure you take a coordinate of that land. Get a surveyor to go to the site and confirm that land is free from government acquisition. It's very, very important. That's the first thing to do before you decide to buy a land. Your land, before you decide to pay any money, that's the first thing to do. Get a surveyor to go ahead and pick the coordinate of that land. Then you confirm, you will go to Lausa and confirm that that land is free from any government. It's not airport land, it's not a government acquired land. You can actually avoid this from happening from day one. It's very, very important. And me as a realtor, what I do before I sell any property, if I come to my YouTube channel and promote any property at all, I make sure that I personally take my surveyor to the location and verify the land before I promote any land at all on my YouTube channel. It is very, very important to do that so that all this demolition that happened will not happen. I was in STV channel this morning to talk about this topic, and the time wasn't enough. I just came from the TV show now. It wasn't enough. That's why I said, okay, let me even do this video to educate my subscribers on this, to avoid buying a land or buying a house, and before you know what happened, the house or the land is demolished.
And yes, the conversation continues right here on Silverbird Television. Silverbird News 24, this is News Hub. We've talked some very important subject matters. This one is also very important because you go out, you have to stay in a structure. You come back to your house, you have to stay in the structure. You go to your church or your mosque, you have to stay in the structure. Everywhere you use, you need a structure, which is where the building professional comes in. Now, with the spate of incessant building collapse in Nigeria, despite recommendations that have been made, despite punitive measures that the government seemingly have made, to ensure that these disastrous incidents do not put more lives of Nigerians at risk, why is this still happening? So we're talking on Lagos town planning regulations. We're circling it down, microing it down to Lagos State. But of course, it also impacts and is very relatable to other states in the Federation as well as the FCT, because Lagos is not the only state where building collapse, occurs. But we're using Lagos State right now, as a sample here. Lagos town planning regulations addressing citizens' concern amid demolitions of property. Well, to give or to do justice to the subject matter is an expert within the sector, Dennis Isong, a property consultant. He joins us right here from our Lagos studio. Good morning, Dennis. It's so good to have you talk about this very important issue.
Thank you so much.
So as a consultant within the sector, I mean, what goes on through your mind? And how does it hit you when you hear, oh, this particular building is collapsed, and then you come back and hear the government say, oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, we're going to mark X amount of building, and give a month, another building comes down. And so people are asking, what is going on?
This same topic, I did a comprehensive interview on it on my YouTube channel. And building collapse it's becoming so common in Lagos especially. And the reason is because, one, there are several factors which you have to consider. Let's start from first, let me put it this way. Anybody can build a house. Anybody can build a house. As far as you have the money, you can build a house. But it doesn't mean that because you have the money, you should go ahead and build without following the right procedure. It's very, very important. And you having the money, it is advisable for you to follow the right procedure before you go ahead and put even a structure on it. Put anything, even as simple as a block. You need to at least follow the right thing. And before you even think of building a house, let me relate it to what happened last Friday, which the rate at which about 13 houses were demolished in Ajao. And looking at this this particular incident started in 2015. And when FAN discovered that some people have encroached their property, a warning was given to them, 2015, and they decided to ignore. But some part of the community went to meet the government, and about 22 houses were put to normal, they were regularized. Then 13 of them that were involved, we are giving notice in 2016. Started in 2015, but in 2016, those that were really affected, we are giving notice to leave. But even after that, some people still went ahead and start building without following the right procedure. I know in Lagos especially, let me use Lagos as a case study. Before you even put one thing on the ground, first and first, you need to confirm the land itself, to confirm it is in the right location. What do I mean? What do I mean is this: something we call coordinates. Where we have currently has a coordinate. So and Lagos has a master plan that every coordinate, every location, have what that place can be used for. So, but because some people have money, they just go ahead and buy property without doing the right thing, which is the first thing first. You pick you bring a surveyor into the game, and there's a particular saying that said, building start from surveyor and end with the surveyor. You bring a surveyor to the game, which means the surveyor will pick the coordinate of that location, go to the master plan of Lagos, and to confirm whether that place is free to be used for the purpose you want to use it for. A place can be free, but the purpose is wrong. A place can be used. A place can be occupied by the place is owned by government, and the purpose that the government will use that place for. If you go ahead and buy that property or that land, you only last. So you are a temporary tenant in that particular land, and if you proceed if you decide to proceed with all this without following the procedure, in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, what happened in Ajao can happen again.
Interesting.
That gets it. What happened in Ajao can happen again. And even after you get your coordinate and confirm that land is good for you to use in building, the next step to do is for you to get what they call planning permits. Planning permits is for you to before you can go ahead and get a building approval, you need a planning permit to confirm that you have the permit to do anything on that land. After that, you can now proceed to go and get a building approval. So, and you need the right professionals in this place, which is a surveyor. You need a lawyer in some case. You need an architect. You need a building contractor. You need all these things to make sure that when you are building a house, you will not have all these ups and downs we have, which include collapse or government coming to demolish and the rest.
Oh, it's good to know that this is an anomaly. It's not supposed to happen. And aside structural defects, individual lapses in judgment as well. When it comes to greed, when it comes to not following proper procedure, is one of the issues that are there. Well, we have our Abuja studio on standby to join in the conversation. Dennis here has been talking to us about the things that people who have money and want to build a house must do to avoid, going under, let me use the word, the radar of those that will be collapsed, as it were. I'm sure you have more questions for him.
It's interesting that he said, he answered the question. I love what he said, but then the reality on ground does not reflect what he has said, because when you look at the level of embarrassing information that comes out of Lagos with respect to building collapse, considering the fact that Lagos is a globally known city, one would have thought that government will be a bit more proactive in that regard. But then here's a question, Dennis. If, for instance, the Lagos state government decides, because we've heard about this, but then they decide and they have the political will to go on a demolition spree, to mark buildings and demolish them, buildings they know are substandard and could cave in at some point in the future or in the nearest future, what would be your reaction to that? Because Lagos is densely populated, and one of the major challenges in Lagos has to do with accommodation. What's your standpoint on that?
The truth is this: the government agency have their own part to play, and reality is there are so many discrepancies when it comes to government agency. And the truth is this: there are so many property in Lagos.
So I'm giving you what to do to avoid this from happening. Number two thing that you need to do when you confirm that the land is okay and you want to do is, if you've confirmed that the land is okay and you want to go ahead and build, what you need to do is this: you need to get a planning permit. It's very important. It's very important. Your planning permit will be needed when you are getting your building approval. These are the steps you need to follow. And also, I will recommend that if all these things are put in place, try to follow whatever you have in your building approval. Let's say you want to build, let's say 10-story building. Don't go ahead and start building 20-story building. That can lead to collapse, just like what happened in Ikoyi. So, and if you observe what happened in Ikoyi, the building that collapsed in Ikoyi, if you notice that it collapsed by the left-hand side, it did not collapse down. That shows that it's a structural defect. That shows that it's from the iron. When people you give to build your house do not use the right proportion they should use based on what has been approved, that can lead to that. So I would recommend that you always get a professional when you want to build a house. Don't try to cut corner, because it will backfire. Apart from the fact that the government, apart from the government part of it, you need to look at the life of people that will occupy that house. It's very, very important. Then I have some list here which I shared in the TV program I did in STV. I just want to share it here again so that you can have a better understanding on what you can do to avoid the government coming to demolish your house, or you even having a building collapse. So I said, get the coordinate first, get a planning permit from the Lagos State Planning Permit Authority. Go ahead also and get a building approval. Then when you then also I would recommend that when you're buying a land, buy from the right source. If you must buy from individuals, please involve a property lawyer. There are different types of lawyer, but not all lawyers can do property lawyers. You need to involve a property lawyer. It's very, very important. That is one thing I would recommend you do. Buy property from the right source and involve property lawyers. It's very, very important. Then also, I also advise that you should buy more from a developer, from a real estate company. You are more secure when you buy from a real estate company because they've done all the work for you. I have a couple of real estate companies I can recommend if you want to buy a land or you want to buy a house, because they have track record, they have integrities. So that's why you need people like us who know the market very well, so that we can assist you in stopping you from falling victim of collapse or the government coming to demolish your house. Then also avoid buying cheap properties. Avoid buying cheap properties. When the property looks so cheap, that shows that there's a comma in it. Avoid buying it. Then also one other thing I want to let you know is this: if you want to buy a property, I recommend that you talk to people like us, so that we can assist you to make sure that you don't fall victim. Mind you, note, buying property from people like us, like realtors like us, will not make you spend more. Rather, it can even make you spend less, and also avoid you from also help you not to fall into problems, government problem, or even collapse problem. I shared all this on my TV interview on XTV today, and let me just come here and let you know. My name is Isong. What I do, I help Nigerians in diaspora to own property that have the potentials of appreciating very well, and I do this helping you because I know you're not here stress free. You don't have to pass through the challenge of going to people that you don't know, that you don't trust, and at the end you might end up losing your money or end up building with wrong material and the rest. So feel free to contact me. I want to assist you in owning property right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Focus on Lagos, Nigeria. So that is just a summary of what I shared today on the TV station I was this morning. So feel free to contact me, and the number is in the screen, my number. I want to assist you in owning a property right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Once again, thank you so much. My name is Dennis Isong.